it's time to start slaying. I hope you're ready to have that thirst satiated. We're back. Godslayers, Death2Divinity, first all-fat, all-queer TTRPG show. We're here to keep you thirsty tonight. I hope you are buckled up. Sour cream juice does not count. I'm glad we could settle a few No, if you were reading Twitch chat before show, you don't need to worry about that ruling I am decreeing, but if you were, that's the ruling. We are here in this Chili's tonight to never speak of sour cream liquid again and tell a story as my lovely friends. As my lovely friends with my lovely friends. You aren't pretending to be my friends for an evening.
Are we pretending to be your friends, or are you pretending to be us? I think it could be interpreted either way.
The plot thickens. The thought plickens. Welcome everyone to the most normal intro we've had so far. Thank you for being here. We're excited to play another little game of thirsty sword lesbians tonight. We got to get there, which means we got to do an intro. We got to talk about a box. We have lots to do. But first and foremost, I just want to welcome you back. We missed you last week. Thanks for playing it fast and loose with us. Don't play fast and loose with anything else. That is the only thing. We have just finished our first course of the On Party, that being Jolt. We are heading into a small interlude, and then Nyx, the drinks course, will begin. Oh man, if you've been at Scheme Times, you know we've got some fun stuff. And even if you weren't at Scheme Times, there are stuff that no one knows is coming tonight. I'm pumped.
Do you know?
So, I know, yes. But we've been keeping some secrets. And,
if it was too good to tell Scheme Time, I'm afraid.
Yes. So, we are ready for a whole little On Party, but to get there, we have to get through recaps. Who wants to remind me who won last week?
Molly?
What? Oh, it was me.
I
think it was Molly.
Oh my god.
I think it was Molly.
All right.
Are we doing popcorn style this week, or are we competing for blood again?
I believe Bloodsport is back on the menu.
Yeah.
Remember,
I can just do the recap, but if you want me to, I can just go over everything.
Yes, no, I think Bloodsport's back on the menu. If any of you want to team up at any point, you're welcome to. But yes, Molly, first and foremost, Time Daddy, please tell time again for us once this evening. But I will be Time Daddying for you eventually when it's your spot. The real question I meant to ask you is, who do you want to pick to go first?
It's me. You're Time Daddying now because I want to go first.
Oh, great. That's why. That's why it all started to blend together. Okay, great. Perfect. Then I'm gonna get this little timer up. I'm gonna give you 15 seconds, and you're gonna recap as much as you can of last week, and then you're gonna pick who goes next. I don't know why I'm saying this like you've never done it before, but let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Current stops Synpira's execution. You're welcome, Synpira. The goddess son, whose name I'm forgetting, Anpara, gets my blood vial. Not cool. Current's dad killed Vinona's parents. Discord tells us. Oops. And then we gotta get our masks in the maze. Current does a good job there.
Me, mom. All right, time's up. Great recap. Who are you picking to go next?
I see fear in Kita's eyes, and I'm honing in on it. So yeah.
I am exploiting
that in
fear.
The water. Great. Kita, go next.
Great. Kita, we'll give Time Daddy a moment, but now when you're ready.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Oh,
I don't have the spoons for a full recap, so we're just going to talk about the fact that Brian throws up at the sight of small children. What's that about, Brian?
Yeah, what's that about? This isn't an investigation portion.
What's up,
an
Brian?
Investigative portion of
I don't think I actually puked. I think she just got close.
You wanted to. And that is all I'm about to know. Kita's kernels. Thank you so much, and have a good night, Ackerman.
You got a
Incredible,
problem with the
Colonel. Thank
miracle
you,
of
Kira.
life, Brian. Hey, you think I'm gonna go next?
Julian.
Okay. Count me in, time daddy.
You freaking ready?
Ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Kaylin still has to talk and rhyme, a challenge which is truly divine. It's time to drink with all our friends. I hope this doesn't cause an end to our friendships or our lives, hoping we just get to jive. So let's get ready for the masquerade and hope nothing happens to Jade.
With 2 seconds to spare.
Okay.
Incredible.
Panache we're coming at these recaps with. I'm screaming. I love this. I love you all so much. Who are you picking to go next?
Sam.
I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
In Brian's defense, Mirafel gave her a spectral hand and also knew that she had been a victim of colossal crimes. And that's weird. Why did she know that? What the fuck?
Beep. This could be a whole new daily bit is in Brian's defense and recap of last week.
Kita's Colonel is followed immediately by in Brian's defense.
In Brian's defense. I love that.
Lyrica, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. Abyssus shows up in the middle of Sampira almost getting killed. Current makes a case to not kill Sampira and instead take her on as a party favor. We meet Lenorin. We start to learn the story of Runica. We get our masks and the monolith, and then Discord starts stirring some shit that isn't true.
Uh-oh.
That was
and
incredible.
for our regularly scheduled tech break, hello? Are we back? Nope. I still don't see y'all in the.
I was
Oh,
about to
boy.
sage a mutiny.
I see
about to say,
KM on
Jamie's
stream, but
gone.
not.
I'll DM. It's gonna
Don't
be
see
bad.
y'all in the ninja, so I'm gonna refresh. But if y'all,
I'm
can
also gonna. Oh wait,
refresh.
there goes KM. Okay. Whew.
I see them both.
Where's Molly? Oh, there's Molly.
here.
Where's Julian?
Can you hear me? Are you even there?
I see everyone but Julian.
This page isn't even letting me refresh. Something's sick.
Okay.
I'll refresh too.
Oh, well,
There's
well,
Julian.
well,
Oh,
well,
there's, Molly's gone. Oh, everybody's
Okay.
gone but Julian.
La,
Hi.
la, 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 hi.
There's Cam.
La 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 la.
Keita, Sam, Molly. There we go.
All right.
Okay, totally normal one, besties. Great.
I definitely heard every single sentence of that recap.
Yeah.
I didn't hear even a lick of it. Not a second.
Oh no.
I'm
I hope
voting
it
for
was really
Sam
good.
for Brian's defense. I thought that.
Thank God.
I'm announcing my vote.
Well, Rhyme Daddy, you're
Oh,
taking
but
it home
that's-
anyways.
Rhyme Daddy.
It's
thank
so
you.
good.
Yes, and yeah. So just I want everyone to know that I've been reading some game theory, and I had a book specifically about campaign management. I believe this one was from. Talk to me about specifically how one recaps were beyond vital, and two everything that would make a good recap. So let's revisit and see if we hit all of them. Our long-term goal.
We have 15 seconds. What do you expect?
Well, no, we have 15 seconds split amongst
I
five
had to
people.
defend Brian. And I
That's
don't know
true.
how I was.
Goal is to politically isolate Discord as much as possible. No, that's our short-term goal. Our long-term goal is to how would you guys define that? Long-term goal.
Kill the gods.
Kill the
Imagine-
gods
See another day.
while not ending the earth.
Fulfill the
that we live
Ackerman
on.
One
There we go.
prophecy in a way that works for us for the benefit of humanity.
I love that. And our short-term goals is like emerge from the party victorious by politically isolating Discord, solidifying any alliances you see fit, and preventing offensive action being taken against you. I think we'd all agree with that, right?
Yeah, and sucking and
Followed
fucking
by
our way across the
stabbing Discord in the
NPCs.
back the minute that we're out of Empire's palace. Yeah.
Sorry, did you
Yeah.
say stabbing or sucking?
Oh no, I definitely
sucking.
said stabbing.
I said
I
know, like,
Molly
sucking.
simultaneously said sucking
Oh,
and
That's
fucking.
why that happened. I was
Yeah.
like stabbing, sucking, fucking, done.
Yes.
Yes.
Great, perfect. All right, so okay, long-term goal, short-term goal, high points.
Oh,
Let's
no.
see some high points from the rhyming. Beautiful, loved that. The what else were high points? I think rescuing Simpira could be considered a high point. You got what you wanted from that. Right, you got Skess Lyle. You successfully got Mirafal and Neov. Right, a lot of high notes. Some complications. Child nausea would probably be one of those. The hashtag kill unbox, I guess, would be another. And then I think those are any of the big complications. And then any unresolved questions. I think we have too many of those to count, but you guys know what they are. So I think a pretty solid recap altogether. The book would be very pleased with us. All right. So I guess
Leon!
what? Oh my God.
But it's true. Who was it? Who was it?
Nightbot with the very timely reminder.
I remember that.
Then you could let in a child.
All
Just
right.
Google it.
Speaking of
Google
stabbing,
it.
sucking, and fucking, I heard there was a box.
Oh.
Your box?
I don't talk about any of those things on my box. My box is
Oh.
pure.
Oh, sorry. Yes, please, Jonas Brothers, stand up on your pure box and tell us what we need to know this week.
Okay, hold on. I'm getting to the thing. Okay, so obviously we want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Die Hard Dice. We've been sponsored by them since season 1. We love them. They're incredible. If you stick around through the whole show tonight, you can enter to win a $20 gift code to spend on whatever you may like. And you can use our code Death2Divinity to get 10% off anything that you buy from them, which includes our beautiful character dice palette bundles that we created for all of our PCs. And then the other thing that I really want to talk about tonight, we love One More Multiverse, which is the platform that we use. We love our artist, Mackenzie Mullins. But the main thing that I'm here to talk about is the TTRPGs for Trans Rights in Florida Itch Charity Bundle. So this is a fundraiser that is currently taking place. It goes until April 7th, so 2 more weeks. It's essentially a purchase that can be purchased for as low as $5. Like that's the suggested lowest donation amount. You can give as much as you would like, and you get over 500 games from over 270 different designers. And all proceeds from this bundle are split between 2 Florida-based charities, the Trans Inclusive Group and the Zebra Youth Coalition. They both work directly with trans youth in Florida, which is helping those that are being most impacted by the really upsetting and awful uptick in anti-trans legislation that's happening in specifically Florida. So we have a command in chat right now, which is !bundle. If you click on that, it will bring up all of that info in the link so you can go and check it out. There are some pretty incredible games included in that bundle, and I know that it's a really important cause to us, and is certainly an important cause to many of the members in our community. And so I wanted to highlight that tonight before we got started on show. I think that's pretty much it for my box this evening.
Yeah, I mean, there are very few times where you can spend $5 and do a very, very good thing, and also pick up literally some of my favorite games are in there. So I highly recommend doing that if you can. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a really incredible bundle. And the folks that worked on it are also really incredible. So definitely, if you have the ability, we highly recommend.
Absolutely. Alrighty, besties. Anything that we're forgetting to talk about before we entreat ourselves back into the world? Oh no, I told myself I had a whole conversation with Scheme Time about how I used the word entreat too much last time. We're not doing it this time. Word entreat off the table.
We need a counter.
No, God, no. We don't need that in our lives. That would be so humbling. Okay. So before we hop in, is there anything else that we need to cover here in the meat space before we go to Acrimon?
Yes, Cataclysmic has pointed out a very important thing that we must do, which is, Katie, may I love you, say it back.
Oh my gosh. I love all of you so much. I'm
love
so
you all
thankful
so
to tell
much.
stories.
Love
with
you all.
Yes.
I love all of you, and if a child walked up to you, I would throw up in your honor.
Oh, you don't have. Don't do that.
Aw.
No need.
That's
Okay,
nice.
no need.
Um,
I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Thank you. The spirit of the offer is really beautiful. All right. So perfect. So to really like set us in the space where we left off last time, for those of you who could not magically prevent it, you are a little not soaked in the rain right now, but you definitely got caught outside in a light spring shower, and your clothes are now that half dry, half wet kind of situation as you have traversed the Mourneranth, which is a beautiful labyrinth made of the very plant called Mourneranths that was built on an ancient graveyard. Of course, current did partially activate the Mourneranth, which usually only comes out to play during rain. And because of that, we have seen the horrors of the Mourneranth. A bunch of its eyes opened up. We saw some skeletons come to life and escort everyone. And you all went on a little bit of your individual journeys to grab your masks. Of course, we have we had some very beautiful statues made in your honor depicting your most heroic moments, which everyone I think agreed was their most heroic moment. I think when we did that poll. So you grabbed a mask that you will be wearing for the rest of the duration of tonight's of the day's festivities, depicting a fable animal of some kind. This fable animal representing someone from history that's someone you do not know yet, unless you are good at guessing. And you have been making your way out of the Mourneranth at varying degrees of psychological health. We before we get too far into emerging from the Mourneranth in various degrees of psychological health, I do want to stop and take a moment and tell the players that they already know this, but I will reiterate it just so everyone at home knows as well. Our players have access to a beautiful cheat sheet that lists everyone's mask and mask name. So when we start referencing them, we didn't like do flashcards during the week. We just have some info. Feel free to ask in chat, and our mods can always help if you get a little lost. But then I also wanted to talk about the fact that we will be introducing some place-specific moves as we head into the rest of the session. Well, none of them are active right now. I will stop and take a moment to introduce them when they come. And those will be things like you getting certain bonuses when you're in certain rooms, or you being able to add things to your drinks that allow you to do certain things. I'm very excited to get into all of those. But before we do that, I want to make sure to get a chance to touch base with any players who took any new moves last week.
I took a new move last week.
Tell me more.
Yeah, so Karen actually took a move out of their own playbook, the Legion playbook. And it's cut right to your bones. And it says, experienced soldiers make for experienced lovers. When your soul recognizes another, you connect deeply and swiftly. Whenever you entice someone, you may give them a string on you to gain a string on them, and declare that you knew each other in a past incarnation. The GM may tell you how, or may leave it a mystery for the time being.
I love that. Thank you for giving me
Little treat.
that little treat. I can't wait. Who else took something?
I
Leveled.
did.
My bad. Nope.
Oh, no. You can go first if you want.
No, I was going to say, I know I leveled up, but I forgot to take a move, but I know the move that I want to take, but I need to find it. So you go first.
Hell yeah.
I got you. I took a move from the Katie May playbook of the book of plays Katie May came up with.
So the place you actually got it from was Gus the Fantastic's XP shop, which we will learn more about over the coming episodes.
I went in and I looked at his wares and I found something called Black Hole Eyes. When you try to use null magic to cleanse an object of its magic, roll plus heart. 10+, you completely strip an object of its magic energy and choose what you do with the magic you stole. I can ingest it and mark XP and a condition tasty. I can destroy the stolen magic and choose one person who sees me do this and let them take a string on me. Or I could gift it to someone and choose them to mark 1 XP and ask them, what do you see corrupting me? If I roll, if the answer hurts my feelings, I stagger, but if it brings us closer, we exchange strings. If I roll a 7 and 9, I completely strip an object of its magic energy, but the null magic you use now hungers, and then there's different ways to satiate it. So I can demonstrate my might over it, let it take what it likes, or ask someone to intervene on my behalf. And then if I do real bad, I can't even make it to fuck me up. It just says null magic is a corrupting force, stagger, and the GM will mark a downbeat. So I thought this was tasty, tasty, tasty.
Yes. So Gus the Fantastic, everyone, if you've not properly met Gus the Fantastic, this is them. I love Gus. I would die for Gus. Gus has an XP shop now where our players will be able to get items and magic that is specifically moves that represent the magic that is specifically campaign present, and ventures, which are going to be like projects in Blades of the Dark, if you're familiar with that. So thank you for picking the first little tasty treat, Molly. I'm excited to see the presence of null magic amongst our party. Kita, did you find that move, or do you want to reveal it spicily at break?
No, I found it.
Let's go, Gamer.
Yeah, so the move I'll be taking comes from the book The Dream Mirror. And I think it's mimesis. Is how you pronounce it. So when you observe someone for a short time, you may ask one question. What words would you use to say a certain thing? What would you talk about in this situation? This is a move, right?
I believe so.
Okay. Sorry, I got flustered for a second. I was like, this feels really short. What behaviors do you find non-threatening, endearing, or desirable, and whom do I wish I was more similar to? And I felt like this would be really helpful for the party vibes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
That's super smart, Kita. I love that.
So no, I'm very excited to see everyone's new moves come to play tonight. And then the other question that I want to make sure we're announcing for the audience right now is who has condition marks and what are they?
Molly?
Kaylin has.
Oh, sorry, my mic cut me off. Go ahead, Julian.
Oh, sorry. Kaylin has guilty mark.
Woof.
I'm angry and guilty.
Ooh.
And I'm angry and insecure.
I love that for all of you. To remind both everyone here and at home, the way that is best to clear those conditions is you can either take the destructive action to clear those. For example, guilty would be sacrifice something important just to hurt yourself for what you've done. So something like that, or you can use certain moves, right? For example, Brian can clear a condition anytime her feeling track reaches 4. Gideon, you can bake some medical bread to clear conditions, but finding time to bake might be hard. And just some additional stuff like that. But the main move for clearing conditions is offering emotional support. So if you see your friend with a condition and would like to help them with it, remember, emotional support is the best way to do that. All right. So we have just had an emotionally rock solid time in the maze, I would say. Everyone's had a normal one. No one's had to confront anything. So I know that you all entered the maze at certain times, but is there anyone who feels like they were the most hasty about it? Like driven in, out, just head down the whole time? Okay. All right.
Oh.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, Wynonna got real in the weeds there, LOL, real fast. So I don't know if that counts as head down, in, out, but
I think it does.
Yeah.
I think it'll absolutely affect the order that you all emerge.
Yeah,
Brian?
I think Brian kind of similarly was like, okay, like I'm here, I've got the thing I need, and now I'm going to try to make my way out. But of course, in doing that, they opted not to put the mask on, thereby actually like prolonging their time in the maze.
Yeah, who did put their masks on?
Kaylin did.
Kaylin and Current, I believe.
And Gideon, right?
No, Gideon's like rage crying at the foot of a statue.
Oh, that's right.
That's-
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yes, I think Gideon's gonna be the last one to emerge, if we're being completely honest. This is not, and I didn't want to just throw that stone right away, but also the stone has been thrown. So I would say that if we're perhaps exiting in pairs to begin with, it would be Current and Kaylin exiting with relative quickness. Brian and Winona also trying to keep their heads down, but encountering some hurdles along the way. And then we have Gideon having a normal one. So I would like to pick up with the uncannily timed monarchs of our party. That is Kaylin and Current. You see what I can do there? It's very nice. So both of you have put on your masks to remind everybody. Current, your mask is this very noble but intimidating looking shark's mask, and Kaylin, you have a dragon's mask that is equal parts just like, oh, the headphones have come off. I'm so scared. Okay. Ah!
That's so sick.
I love this. No notes.
Really like that it matches your hair.
Take a string on me. Okay. I love a prop. Listen. Okay, perfect. So yes, you are wearing this mask. I'm really thankful that Lyrica doesn't have a shark mask because I think it would scare the shit out of me. I just realized how thankful. That'll be enough imagination. All I can picture is the shark head from Raft and what it would look like if you were actually wearing that right now, and I'm so scared. Oh, that's somehow threatening.
There's
Okay.
the one with the little bone that's like munching on.
This is the one
Is that the one? Yeah, with
Yeah.
the like legs sticking out of it.
Love to see it. Yeah, no, I love this. Okay. So I'm all for uncanny timing. I say that our two monarchs appear nearly at the same time. Current, you of course appearing after awakening the Mourneranth and having the beauty of its death kind of reach out to you. As you leave, you apparate again just a few feet from the Mourneranth's exit, and over here, where the sun has already begun to like part through your rain clouds again, everything is kind of returning to Anpara's dictation of normalcy. There is a quietness to the Mourneranth for you now. All of the life that it just exposed to you now is completely dormant again. And in that sort of silence, Anpara's presence is very strong, right? As the sun parts back through your rain clouds, it almost feels like it's beating down on you. The faint smell of a seductive little garden and too thick honey fill your senses again. Ampara, you are beginning to sense, has a domain-like control over the place that you're in. And you realize that that extends into the very earth, that extends into the air, that extends into just all of it. And the most of all being the smattering of fireflies that have never left the corner of your eyes. You realize that there is an exit, right? You're kind of hiding on the other side of it, like you're about to do like a SWAT break-in. and you realize you have a few moments of gathering yourself before you step out into, you can hear like the small chatters of conversation of enclave members waiting to greet people who are emerging from the maze. Do you just walk right out? Do you take a moment to ready yourself? What does that look like?
I take a moment. I think I spend a little bit of, it's kind of like, I put the mask on, boom, I'm at this place, and it takes me a moment to be like, okay, what? I just stepped out of like a portal. What the hell just happened? And I think I go to do this motion of like taking the mask off, putting it on, trying to see if like things look different, because that was the whole reason that I had put the mask on inside of the maze to begin with. And then after doing that a couple of times, I think I wait for a moment to just let my ears adjust and see if there's anything I could pick up from these little bits of conversation that are going on before I start heading out.
Okay, so you're listening in. I love that. Okay, so yeah, you are laying do you if you have strings on any of the Iron Eater Enclave members and would like to spin it now, I will give you a verifiable piece of hot goss.
Let's see. I do not.
All right, I'll just give you some little breadcrumbs then. So you are kind of hanging out, listening in as best as you can, and the people out there, they know where they are, right? They are behaving to the extent of decorum that is like making their god proud, right? And that is an unending like dedication for all of those people. I think what you hear as you approach is you hear Valyria say the words "the blade," but they are whispering for the rest of that conversation, but you know for the fact that you heard the word "the blade." Kaylin, when you are apparated to the exits, you are welcomed by a similar scene to Current. The only difference being there is that you can see Current kind of waiting up against the hedge, waiting to emerge, clearly listening in, not clearly, but pretty clearly listening in to the conversations happening on the other side of the maze. What do those first few moments after Kaylin teleports look like?
I think he'll take off his mask because he's like, all right, I'm not. This is for the party later. Doesn't feel like wearing it right now. And then sees Current kind of like, paying more attention. So he's like, well, maybe I should pay attention to what's going on too. And we'll try to kind of lean in a bit and see what he can hear.
Do you have a string you'd like to spend on an Iron Eater Enclave member to get a verifiable piece of hot goss?
Let's see. I don't think I have one. I mean, yeah, no, I don't think I have a good one anyway. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that you are leaning close, trying to also gain some. And do you just wordlessly like kind of just like shimmy up next to Current to do the same thing? Is there any exchange? Yeah. Is it just no explanation needed that you both immediately know what's going on?
It's all we lock eyes.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Yeah, so I think that you also kind of get close. You all realize right now that Thievius and Valyria are clearly standing the closest here. And I think that the few words that you are able to glean is you hear Valyria say the words runemancy. And then you hear the phrase more than one button.
Okay. Um. How much? I'm trying to remember how much Kaylin knows about runemancy.
Well, the Osirov family is typically noted as one of the grandfathers of that magical practice. So you would know the fact that the Osirov lineage helped invent it. You would
Okay.
know that like Osirite was the stone that allowed runemancy as a practice to be created. You hated school though, so I don't think you and I both know that learning was never Kaylin's number one priority. Especially in like you're not gonna ask for an internship at Fig Glass Industries as a teen, are you?
Right. I'm just trying to determine whether that would be enough information. Probably not. It's probably not enough information for him yet. But he does know about Nakia and her little button guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't know if it's enough information to like pull it together yet.
What are you
or
trying
if
to
he
pull it
would-
together? What are you trying to pull together? What are the
Well, if I heard Valeria say runemancy and more than one button, he'd be thinking about Nakia and her button and what that does, and then thinking like, oh shit, if there's more than one, then multiple people would be under that control.
I think that's fair for you to even if it's a paranoia, I think that's a fair thing for you to take on.
Okay.
And I will say the last thing that you know about runemancy is the person who who would know the most about this are the members of the Valix Arcanon. So that would be Alan, the Hierophant. That'd be Gideon, who went into Valix after their father. And Current, who joined Gideon in that class of knowledge. And also Julian, and also Jasper.
If only you'd asked Julian for information like that.
Yeah, something tells me Kaylin's not gonna just hop on the phone with Julian.
You have his number, you could call.
I could, but you know what? I'm giving him some space.
Hi, are you still mad at me?
Yeah, that'll be his last resort. He'll go to everybody else first, and then if he can't get anything, Julian. Okay, so yeah, I think he's just kind of thinking about Nakia and that button that she has that kind of like controls her. And will whisper to Current, and he'll say just like, oh, we need to talk about those buttons.
And I'll go ahead and nod back and just kind of gesture with eyes towards where Thevius and Valeria are, to just be like, but we'll do it later.
Mm-hmm.
And start like getting myself together to make it look like we weren't there listening for a while, to walk out.
Yeah, so you both walk out at the same time. Are you I need to know up front, are you trying to exude any kind of vibe?
I think I'm trying to exude a vibe of confusion, like I literally just stepped out of this portal. Have my mask in my hand again, just kind of looking around and going, saying like, okay, now what? And just kind of stumbling out.
I think Kaylin is a little bit more what's the words of like he's not unnecessarily, but like when it's not warranted, right? Like he's cocky about it a little bit, right?
Okay.
Like he's like, oh yeah, I got this, but like it's not really warranted for him to feel that way.
You're
Like,
acting like
he's-
you just stole this from someone.
Right.
But
Yeah.
no, that makes
Yeah.
sense. I
Yeah.
love that. Okay. Yeah. So you both kind of emerge at the same time, clearly emerging together, which is a statement within itself. And you see no one else besides the Iron Eater Enclave and Valyria here waiting for you. Kaylin, this goes against something that you presumed would be fact, and that Neov and Mirafel will be waiting here on the other side for you. You just noticed that right away. I don't know if you remembered that, but so I wanted to say, if yes, it's true if you remembered it, and yes, it's not happening. So there are only these 6 here. And all of them are yes.
My patron, if you will, because I don't know what else to call a host. I don't know.
Mhm.
Is Limerick?
Limericks.
Okay, Limericks. Okay.
Yes. So Limericks is there, looking pretty unbothered. Everyone is wearing their masks. So you see Limericks in a quite like not uninspired, but this is the most normal mask you're about to make eye contact with. You see this very sturdy copper looking metallic mask that's only a half face that seems to be shaped like some kind of beetle. You can tell from the curved shape of the pinchers atop of the mask. It catches these glimmers of metallic light every time it shifts in on Paro's sun. But you can see like that of the first masks is present. I guess I'll even say that Limericks isn't like fully wearing it. They're wearing it on like the top half of their head at the moment. Next to the next two Limericks, you see Fife, who is wearing a cute little chipmunk mask. That has metal etched to look like fur, with those classic like chipmunky stripes all up it. And then as you head down towards the more intricate looking masks, you see that Trist is in this beautiful unicorn mask that has this horn set atop her head that is this beautiful like white iridescent, and going down all on top of her already incredibly beautiful hair is this additional like entire set of holographic iridescent curls made to match hers in the shape of a horse's mane, heading down the center of her hair. So we've got Fife, who will be known as the Chipmunk. We've got Limericks, who will be known as the Beetle Guard. We have Trist, who will be known as the Unicorn. And then as we head over to our last 2 Iron Eater Enclave members, you can see Thievius Kilthorn in a kind of plucky looking porcupine's mask. This mask is this Thievius's half face mask is adorned with these very delicate quills arranged in very intricate patterns, depicting the peaceful malice. I couldn't think of a better words to describe it, of a porcupine. The stark iron base of the mask, which is a statement for the right. Not, like I think it's like when you see Thievius wearing it that it like hits you. These are all Flux who are adorned in metal right now. Not many Flux could get away with doing that. That is why you have blades made of iron. But the Iron Eater Enclave members are like all wearing metal iron masks and doing it just for you, right? Very much a statement of power on their part. So Thievius' stark iron base of the mask is perfectly complemented by like these icy white tips of the quills. And then finally, you see Malaya Pira, dressed in a griffin's mask, which is this quite subtly beautiful mask. It is in both parts like one of, much like Limerix's, like understated masks, but there is a, like, the second you get close enough, you realize that there is a deep intricacy to it. It is a mask of dark-hued greens and golds with an iron base, depicting a noble griffin with a golden beak and a golden crown. And then you can see just tucked behind Thievius is Valyria in a mask depicting a swan. It almost, you swear her neck is longer as she's wearing it. There's a ethereal and unsettling grace to it. And the feathers all look quite real. So you see all of these people. You step out to join with adorned in their masks as well, which means it's very hard to see how they feel about you emerging from the maze, first and foremost, except for Limerix, who smiles and waves in a small welcome, quite friendly. And my question to start is, are you going to set the tone? Are you going to try and say something before any of them can, or are you going to let them start this moment?
I think Current might comment something like, well, that was definitely an experience that I've never had before.
Yeah, okay, great. That's the perfect way to start. I love that. So you say this to the group, and it is Malaya Pira who speaks up first. Even though your host right now is Trist. And Malaya Pira says, yes, leave it to a burgeoning god to define their own way through the Mournerynth. It was quite bold of you to begin awakening the dead in the very labyrinth that held your friends.
Never is my intention to put my friends in any sort of danger, but I must admit the curiosity does tend to get the best of me frequently.
And I think Valyria speaks up at this point and says to Malaya Pira, yes, and we must allow children their curiosity. Which is absolutely a backhanded comment. I will say that straight out. And I think before anything kind of kicks up, Trist takes a step forward and says, well, Fair Current, I would be happy to escort you back to the tower where you will be staying.
I would love that.
Yeah, so Trist kind of nods and then nods to everyone else and kind of like holds out a hand to escort you. And she asks, would you prefer to walk through the gardens, or would you like me to teleport us straight there?
Well, I'd love for you to tell me all about your favorite plants in the garden.
My pleasure. How much do you know about Flux flora and fauna?
Not as much as I'd like to. We don't see too many types of flux plants back on Kurthus.
Of course you don't. Have you ever heard of a Mournerynth before your time in there?
No, I can't say I have.
Well, Mournerynths are quite famous. There are places in the ruins of your civilizations where there are Mournerynths that are hundreds of miles long, all built on ancient, scarred battlefields. They create a labyrinth that is both equal parts beauty and sorrow, honoring the things that came before it and helping a memory stay alive.
So, what memory does this monolith hold that Ampara would rather nobody see?
Oh, no secrets indeed. This place we are in, I'm not sure if you know this. I have very little knowledge of how much was kept from the citizens of Carthus. Where you are right now is the Sacred Grove, which is where the Apotheon sisters first lived when they wandered to Acramon for the first time.
And I think
Those are the sisters dead, not on Paras.
I'll look around and say, well, seems as though perhaps this garden has much more of a story to tell.
Oh, quite. Each plant a story and purpose and pleasure. You take the buds of a monorinth and you ferment it. You have the most beautiful glass of absinthe you could imagine. And she waves her hand, and a small flask that's like one of those like airport drinks, like that kind of size, but in like a little heart shape, appears. And she says, it makes the most tasty absinthe and lets you drink visions of wants and desires with those you choose to share it with. And she leans forward and kind of like tucks it into where are you wearing pockets? Tell me.
I think I have like, I don't know how it would, it's like part of my, like my middle corset piece. I have like a, I don't know what you would call it. I can see it in my head, but I don't know what it's called. Just like a satchel that's like a small satchel that's just kind of like hanging from out of there.
Like a little hip guy. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Oof. Okay. So Trist takes a single finger and hooks it into your belt and pulls you closer before slowly placing this first little flask in it. And she says, but if you take those very same buds and scar them over open flame, you get a delightful powdered poison that, if delivered in small doses, can incapacitate even the most daring of foes with pleasant, wanting dreams. And then she puts that also in a heart-shaped flask into your side belt as well. MILF Manor style.
Oh, okay. Trying to exude some type of confidence. I'm going to reciprocate the lean in and just not quite a whisper, but not quite normal voice volume. Like close to her ear and just be like, I can't wait to see what other secrets this garden and you may hold. Since I can't say thank you. And kind of just like pat where they are to let her know that they are safely kept. And I'm going to actually walk ahead a little bit and turn and like motion, waiting for her to start walking again.
Yes, and she begins walking with you when you both begin to notice the garden begin to settle with mist. Kaylin, you stand through that whole exchange between Malaya Pira and Valyria and Trist. What are you doing in the middle of all that?
So definitely have noticed that Neav and Mirafal aren't there, but has decided to keep quiet for the moment because he sees Valyria there and like he'd rather not have Mirafel brought to him.
I lost the kid. Home Alone.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like he doesn't want that to be a thing. So he's just kind of gonna take a note. He's like so it's kind of his once he goes off with limericks, that'll probably be the first thing that he asks them, her. I forgot limericks.
Limericks uses fluid pronouns. So any
Fluid
work.
pronouns. Okay, great. So so that's the first thing he's gonna ask them about is, Neov and Mirafel. But in the time being, I think he's just kind of trying to take everybody in, see what's going on, see if anybody will, accidentally say something maybe they're not supposed to say, or
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be grand? But I think where we will pick up is let's hear how you. I think Limericks leads you away almost immediately after Current is off. So let's pick up with. I think Limericks explains to you. Right before you get into this subject, the only thing that Limericks has set up to you at this point is that Limericks's wing is one of the ones that is like furthest out from the palace. It's got one of the farthest travel times, but that is because Limericks is like the keeper of the estate. Right, so the gardens, the creatures within it, that is all under Limericks's domain, which they share with you. And in that, you will be staying with one of those creatures. And it's at that point that Limericks explains to you that your abode for the duration of your stay will be a small house that lives inside of a snail shell that a snail is actively using at this moment.
And the snail doesn't mind that we take space in his home.
Well, unlike most of mortal kind, we have managed to create symbiotic, positive, flourishing relationships with the nature around us.
Love that. Okay. And I guess kind of as they're so the first thing he'll talk about is Mirafel and all that, but he also wants to talk about just like if she's the like keeper of the whole thing, then he wants to get as much information from them as possible. And so he'd say like, oh, can you tell me more about the creatures that roam the grounds? Are there friendly creatures? Are there aggressive creatures? Are there things that, I should be aware of? Are there hidden passageways on the grounds?
Interesting. Okay. I think you do launch into this line of questioning. I think what I want to make sure that this isn't right now is a figure out a person.
No, because I'm not trying to figure out limericks. I want to know more about the grounds. Unless the
Sure.
grounds is a figure out a person, in which case, sure.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I think this is fine. So I think that Limericks is pretty happy to answer the majority of your questions about like the grounds themselves. I think that she explains to you that most of the spicier creatures are banished from the grounds when mortal kind come for mortal kind safety and mortal kind safety alone, right? Like that's kind of poses like a thing we have to do to keep you alive, right? Which is its own taste for sure. Beyond that, Limericks, I believe. I'm deciding what Limericks thinks of you so far. I think that I think that Limericks tells you that there is a wide variety of things here, both what Anpara loves most about the wilds and what Anpara loves most about Akramon. And I think the biggest fact during this kind of historical walking tour you've now gone on, is Limericks drops in the middle of this, like very casually, that Ozzel has a Acrimon old world creature petting zoo on the grounds. Limericks goes, "There's even goats."
Goats, you say?
Yes, baby ones.
Why does she have this petting zoo?
Limerick shrugs and goes, "She goes there to think."
Interesting. Where is it?
Behind Trist's wing.
Is anyone allowed to go there?
Limericks clearly thinks about this answer before he gives it, but he goes, "Yeah."
Okay.
Just like that. Yeah.
Great. I think that that would be that'd be a lot of fun to go and check out the petting zoo. What are the old world animals that are there?
The most fascinating ones. I'm going to make everyone go around the circle now and tell me one thing Ozzel has in her petting zoo. Let's start with Molly.
A bear.
A bear.
It's my favorite animal. What do you expect?
Okay.
A bear.
It's friendly though.
Lyrica.
Capybara.
A capybara. Mantha.
Sorry, I was singing the capybara song. I think she probably has the owl bear that Brian freed when she was in Mirage City doing that job.
I love that. We're tying it all together. Kita.
Turtle doves, but they're turtles with wings.
Oh.
Do you know that was actually my nickname as a child? That's a fun fact. And Juliana, what animal are you contributing to the pile?
A monkey.
Monkey. So we've got monkey, bear, dove, turtles. We've got capybaras and an owl bear. Limericks goes all types of bears, owl bears, and regular bears, and then proceeds to list everything else.
Incredible. And then now I think Kaylin would like to do a figure out a person.
Okay.
So
Well, you do your figure out a person. I will pull you onto the map that is your where you're staying while you're here, bud.
How fancy.
So I hope you're very excited for that. Limericks eventually leads you into you walk past Thievius's wing, which is a Disney World Main Street like recreation of the buildings you would be familiar with in Kurthus, complete with rivers of blood running around them, and that seems fair and normal to you. You pass that, and the rivers of blood red turn into this beautiful turquoise green, and you can begin to see like these beautiful like sea serpents swimming through these rivers, and all leading into like this beautiful like almost like hidden lagoon at the edge of Anpara's palace. Thank you. If you stay through to the end, Anpara will give you a sun hat. Can't wait for you to see what it looks like. And it's stunning. It is one of the most beautiful places you've ever been. You can see that this is all like completely lovingly tended to. Every plant you see around is flourishing with life. You can see that like you think this might have been like a statue garden of some sorts. It has been completely like overrun and rebuilt. The only thing that remains of it is this beautiful statue of now on Para at the very end of this lagoon, that is pouring out this beautiful water that fills this whole lagoon, with a beautiful sunburst behind him. And are you on the map yet?
Yes.
Great. And of course, the house where you will be staying, which is a beautiful little snail guy who seems to be actively moving around this. You can see that he's kind of slurping up all the algae that is beginning to form on all of these different rocks as he goes. And perpetual vibe, this little slug. You get you get that this guy's happy to be here. And you can see atop of it is this beautiful, pleasant little structure. And you, as you're looking at it, can see like Neov like run past a window. And then eventually you see a hand skitter across the edge of the window as well.
Okay. Okay, so I know that Neov and Mirafal are in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for my figure out a person, I rolled a 7.
Oh, okay.
So I get to ask 2 questions and you get to ask 1.
Okay.
My first question just directly would be, what do you love most about being the groundskeeper?
Oh. Yeah, and do you ask this outright?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think like you're beginning to walk closer to the snail, and Limericks thinks about it for a moment, and after a long pause, they go, "My God is a God of abundance. To breathe life into that abundance, to nurture life, giving way to life, giving way to life. I couldn't serve a more beautiful cause or a more beautiful God." And protecting that is the most holy service I have ever been called to.
And Limericks did not say anything about any hidden like passages or anything when I asked earlier. Right?
Yes, I think you and did you ask that outright?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Limericks goes, thousands.
Okay, so then my next question, how could I get you to reveal the hidden areas to me?
Those are only revealed to dynasty members. So you'd have to be a dynasty to get access to those.
And what if there's a relationship to dynasty? Did you get access to that then?
If a dynasty is willing to vouch for you, almost certainly.
Okay. Good to know. I think we have several people here who might have some connections to the dynasties, and yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind. Ask, please.
Listen.
So yeah, and then I guess Kaylin will go inside to see Mirafel and Nia because he hasn't seen them in quite some time.
Yeah. Before you go, Limericks points out like where the sun is in the sky right now, and where it will be when you need to report back to the main for the next course. But Limericks tells you that that she'll come get you at that time, anyways.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Limericks. I appreciate it.
And they ask if you need anything before they go.
Do I need anything? I mean, what a vague question. You know, I think for now I'm okay. But I'll let you know if anything comes up.
Limericks nods and retreats. You know, you probably have about 90 minutes before you have to report again. And that's like for a costume change, if so you choose, right, to pick the outfit that goes with your mask, right, is what historically that time would be used for. And from that point, as Limericks, you notice Limericks walking away. And as Limericks is walking away, you see this moss begin to creep up their feet. And just as it begins to get up to their chest and rise up their neck, you see them conjure out of thin air this like violin that doesn't have a bodice, just like a neck and a base. And it is crimson red. And you see them ring across like the side of their gauntlet, and almost like it is a bow, play like just like a section of notes, and the moss covers itself entirely and then begins to fade to the ground, almost disintegrating, and Limericks is not there. And in this moment of shock before you head into your snouse, you what, should I call it something else? No, snouse. You notice a unsettling mist begin to settle on the floor of this lagoon.
Against Kalen's better thoughts, something that he feels he ought to investigate before heading in to the snouse where his friends have been.
What does that mean? You tell me.
He's gonna go investigate this mist.
Oh, just the mist. Gotcha. How do you, what skill do you use to investigate this mist? Is it your magical prowess? Is it your sleuthing skills that you picked up at Becoming a King Academy? What do you use to conduct this investigation?
My Becoming a King Academy skills.
Yeah, so you step out and begin to try and get a feeling for what this mist is. A quick investigation will let you know that it seems to be across the entire palace right now. And the biggest, like, some of it is just settled on the ground, like where you are now, but you look back where you came from, which is the Mornarinth, and it's Florida sky mist.
Learning nothing from the mist, feeling Learning nothing from the mist.
You learned
Bestie,
something.
you don't have to rhyme.
Well-
Just Kaylin has to rhyme. It just has to be the dialogue.
Oh, that's right. Oh, now my brain's all confused because I forgot about the rhyming, and then okay. Anyway, so yeah, so he so he's learned only.
I will
essentially, though,
clarify
the
that your
mist is
magical effects do
everywhere.
fade during interludes, so you are fine.
Okay, great. Okay, so yeah, other than the fact that the mist is there, he hasn't
Mhm.
necessarily learned anything. About
No. Mm-mm.
So, what are we doing here? Wow.
Oh, I
Um,
was taking a look at where I was trying to find where you were, bestie. I was like, where is
I
my
have no
friend
idea where I
Kaylin?
am. I don't know.
We'll find him one day.
Yeah, he's fine. So yeah, so then he'll just kind of be like, well, this is really fucking weird. I guess I need to go find somebody to talk to about this, and we'll go inside the house and see if maybe Neav knows something.
Great. All right. So we will leave you heading into this house. So with that, let's head back to the Mortarinth, shall we? So Brine, remind me how we left you spiritually, emotionally, leaving the Mortarinth.
I mean, I think she's as untrusting as she has been the whole time. I think she's a little off-put by her mask because I think she just kind of assumes that this is going to give her like a very close tie to Anpara and whatever is to come, which makes her feel a little icky at the very least.
Icky at the very least makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that like those fears absolutely are, shall we say, breathed into life when you begin to like, you're exiting the maze. Obviously, like the rain put a definite tone shift on what was happening. But then as the rain began to clear and the sky began to part to this beautiful, beautiful morning visage, you begin to realize that even though 'tis daylight, sparks of little fledgling light are flitting between the corners of your eyes. You are definitely accruing more fireflies than you were before this all went down.
So, like, as she's carrying her mask and trying to find her way out of the maze, is this happening?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I think Brian at this point has kind of put together that like the fireflies are on par as like messengers or spies or something. And so I think she probably does some little like nobody's looking, so I'm gonna be a little bit foolish like tests. And so she like will like try to fake them out and see if she can like act to go one way and see if they follow, or like if she just stops dead, like do they stop with her, you know, basically like things that you would do with a sibling who is following you around, kind of that vibe.
Yeah, so you begin to do that, and you start to realize that each of these fireflies are jubilantly playing along with you. How kind of you to invite them to a pleasant little game.
Cool.
In
How
fact,
does she
arrive to join in on the fun?
how does she get jubilant from them? Like what about their behavior gives her that vibe?
There's almost a chirp to their buzzing, a delighted increase in frequency intonation as they chase you as you skirt and swerve.
I think she then, like when she realizes that, kind of holds out the mask and says like, She holds it out to them and then like looks at this like mass of fireflies and says, if I put this on, is it going to send me somewhere I don't want to be?
Yeah, so you ask the fireflies this question, and they begin just flying in a frantic, tight circle.
Brian takes a second. And I think she recalls when her auntie used to try to read fortunes in the roots of the various plants that they would raise in the garden that can terrify. And so she says, let's back up a little bit. If I was to ask you a yes or no question, can you show me what you would do for yes?
So you ask this question, and Winona, I'd like to take a moment with you. You have just left this incredibly fraught, let's use the word, conversation.
Yes.
As you're making your way through this maze, trying to find the exit, how does that manifest?
I would say that Winona is like kind of in a daze like situation, you know, where like her body just knows to keep moving forward. It feels kind of I would say it kind of feels a little robotic, like her eyes are just kind of like she knows that she has to stay strong, but like it's just empty. Like she's trying to like really reckon with the information that she just received, and she's kind of filled with everything like sadness, anger, vengeance, and also just trying to keep it casual or like trying to seem unfazed because she doesn't want to like come off scared or
absolutely.
too vulnerable in front of literal gods. So I think that answers the question, right?
Absolutely does.
Okay.
I think that it definitely feels like almost like the eye of a storm, right? But if like the eye of a storm was like also a glass jar that had been placed atop you, right? You were
Yeah.
unable to reach out and touch that even if you so wanted to, right? But you are still completely surrounded by that storm, which makes it kind of hard to access how you feel about it when you turn the corner and see Brine in the middle of a long corridor, hedges on either sides, conversing very intently with a group about 16 to 20 fireflies. Brian, you asked how would they give you a yes or a no? Which one would you ask for?
Yeah, I said, how would you show me yes?
They do this again.
Great. And how would you show me no?
They stop. And just all slowly turn to you.
Menacing.
Brian, what do you do to the fireflies?
Brian jumps, I think, a little bit. Which I think it's rare for you to be able to sneak up on Brian.
Fair.
So I think she turns to you and she holds up her mask, trying to find out what happens if I put the damn thing on. Ever since I picked it up, they've been collecting around me like a little army.
Oh, Brian's army. Look how cute. Are they cute? Are they deadly?
They're so fucking cute.
Okay.
Like a little nightlight following you around.
That's so sweet. Oh, Brian.
Yeah, that's one word for it. Another word might be, surveying, creepy, any of the above.
Surveying or creepy. Thank you.
What did you get?
A phoenix. I got a phoenix.
think that makes Brian feel really scared for a second. Because of what that implies. And so I think she just kind of looks at Winona and says, do you think you're in the burning phase or the rebirth phase?
Is there a word for kind of the apex of both?
I don't know.
Because I feel, and I think Winona is like Brian is one of her safe people.
Yeah.
So I think she's going to crack a little bit, but not too much. And I feel like Brian would know that Winona kind of just gives all or nothing when it comes to her emotions. So like letting it leak out, I think would be like a telltale sign that something's wrong and not just like fully like emoting it. And she'll kind of just say like, I feel like my world around me is crumbling down. But that's kind of what needs to happen for somebody to be reborn, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what happened to me, right? And I think Brian just kind of like reaches out to take Winona's hand.
Brian, can I tell you something?
Yeah, of course. We might have an audience, though. And she just like gestures to the Fireflies.
The Fireflies all at once move 10 feet away from where you're standing.
And Winona's trying to like there's no way that she's just gonna tell Brian Discord told me that Articus killed my parents. And I don't know how to move forward with that knowledge.
Do you want my advice or do you want my plan? Because I think they might be different.
No. I think right now, advice would be better, but we can discuss a plan later.
Okay. I think it's highly likely that every single person that we've encountered from Kurthis out here, whether we came down here with them or whether we met up with them after, Kaylin, everyone that came down with the weeds, I think it's safe to assume that anything we experienced up there is probably something that we're going to have to either kill, whether that's literal or emotional, or some combination thereof, or it's something that we're going to have to learn to live with. And I don't know which one of those is the most comfortable option for you, but I do know that we're all really fucking different from how we were a month ago. And I know that wherever Atticus Whitmore is, he should probably be very, very scared.
Yeah. And I think Winona's just gonna kind of wipe her nose and her eyes and just kind of leave it there.
And I think when Winona does that, Brian gives her hand like 3 little squeezes. And then she drops Winona's hand. She takes a breath and she says, did Discord come to you in a vision, or has Discord actually arrived here?
Discord handed me my mask. Right? Table, top. Yeah, okay.
Has he come back for his wings? What the hell is he doing here? He, him, right? For Discord?
Discord or Doxon? Who are you asking about?
Discord,
Discord?
right?
My
She, her.
brain broke. My brain broke.
I'm
Let me back up. We're backing up. I asked if Discord was here. You said Discord handed me my mask. Well. She might be a god, but I think she should probably be pretty scared too.
Yeah.
You want to get this over with?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
Okay.
you notice at this point that all of the fireflies have congregated at like a certain cardinal direction and begin slowly leading you outside of the mourner. Should you choose to trust their directions, you are also welcome to make your way on your own. But eventually you get closer and closer to the exit, and you can begin to hear some softly talking voices. Do you have anything left to information to give each other before you step out to the Iron Eater Enclave?
I think just like before they leave the maze, Brian probably turns to Winona and just says, whatever magic you've got running in your veins now, I hope it keeps you safe tonight, especially since we're not supposed to be doing anything violent while on the premises.
Yeah, I don't plan on doing anything physically violent.
Truer words, Winona. And I think Brian just kind of like gives like a little nod, and then she puts her mask on as she steps out of the maze.
Awesome. Winona, do you join her in your masked moment, or do you leave it off?
I think I'll put it on.
Yeah, so you both put on your masks. One, this beautiful phoenix's visage. The other, of course, more, shall we say, plucky looking firefly. Yeah, you've been like animated movie merched. Like you were very specifically hit with that stick, Brian. And you're looking around and like no one else got hit with that stick, you know? It's very clear. It's been a very strong message. So you all, you both step out of the exit at the same time, and of course are entreated to the visages of the remaining Iron Eater Enclave members and Valyria. Malaya Pira as the Griffin King. You have Thievius as the Porky Prince. You have Trist is no longer there. Trist has gone with Current. So it's Thievius there as the Porky Prince, Valyria there as the Swan Emprex, Malaya Pira there as the Griffin King, and then you have Fife, who is charged with the two of you in their little chipmunk mask as the chipmunk, but spelled like monk, like the class, and that's the last time I'll explain that. And so you all step out to see these masks at the same time as they see you in yours. Brian, even though Malaya Pira is wearing this half face mask, you see a subtle but very present professional smile spread across his face when he sees you. in your little mask. And then he looks over to Winona and like nods respectfully, almost. And you hear Thebes go, delightful, at the same time that kind of takes a few steps forward and kind of bows to the two of you and says, you both look quite extravagant in your party visages.
As do you.
It will be an honor to be your host. If you have nothing left here to do, I can take you simply inside. And Fife like points up to this hulking mushroom building that is on the other side of this exit of the Mournerynth, and says, this is where you will be staying.
Will my guest be there?
Yes, Mal Malone is already waiting there for you, as is Hugo Pottstiggle.
What about Skeslisle?
Do you wish me to bring Skeslisle to you?
That was an above game question. I'm so sorry.
I will bring Skeslisle to you right away.
I think Brian just kind of gives a nod and says, ready to play my part. Lead the way.
All right. So you two are led up into this extravagant little mushroom that like... Well, actually, we'll save that for a little bit. And you begin heading up, much like Trist's tower. There is this base spiral staircase, and there are various portholes, windows, as you head up this original first set of stairs. And as you are wandering up that, you begin to realize that your visibility becomes slightly limited as a condensation builds on the window and gives way to mists waiting outside. Gideon Osmond, you have collapsed at the foot of a marble statue. Time does not reveal itself to you. What matters time to a mourning heart? You know, if minutes, 10, 20, 30, an hour have passed, you don't know if you are in this maze with others or just skeletons waiting for you to leave. What are your pressing thoughts as you are this crying heap?
I think Gideon has just been stuck in that like thought loop of like, I shouldn't be here, as they have like not stopped crying, and I think these flowers have like not stopped growing around them. And I think up to the point where like the statue is Gideon reaching out to Misha, and I think there is like a flower equivalent of Misha holding the statue Gideon's hands that has like slowly grown up for how long they've been here. Just 8 of these half dead pink flowers that are just like a little crunchy and have that like smell that's like kind of pretty, but you know it's a dead flower. As Gideon like can't get them to come fully to life, because they are so in their feelings right now, to put it lightly.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you are weeping at the front of this structure, and there's a catharsis to it. You feel the longer you begin to cry, you can't tell if it's your flowers or the Mournerynth's. You feel this non-threatening. You have to lead with that. This twisted knot of like vines and dead flowers like reach out from this hedge close to you and rest almost a reassuring hand on your shoulder. Like, thank God someone has come to care for the dead and not their own heroism. And you get the feeling that if there was any place to feel this, it's this. Right? Where their pain and death and unwritten, unsolved stories of heroism and romance and beauty were devoured just as thoroughly as yours. And only if someone could hear the wails of the Balewell mourners as Gideon's cries joined them. And it is that comfort that keeps you warm. Even as the cold mist begins to pour from the point where the brush that is Misha and Gideon's marble hand meet. No better way to summon the god of grief. This mist pours and settles and pours and settles. First, it fills up this section of the Mourneranth before spilling over the top into each of the hallways, up into the sky, until the sun cannot reach you anymore. And it is only when you are fully ensconced in shadow that the heat of the sun, of the ever-presence of Ampara's domain, shifts and leaves. Do you notice what is happening?
I think the like, you know, when you're crying and everything just feels like hot and terrible. I think that like cold mist feels like really nice to Gideon. It is like the first, other than the hand, which I think they're like touching back. It is like a feeling of like relief and like cool on them as they look up to see what's causing this. Because I think they're like fully like on the ground crying, like on all fours, and then like look up to see.
Yeah. You look up, and the last thing you saw then and the first thing you saw now is obviously the point where these two hands meet. And you realize that your dying flowers, while your dying flowers remain, everything else that is not the statue of Gideon in this moment that you can see and not ensconced by the mist have changed. Every single vine and petal that were part of these flowers that came to make Misha's form have solidified and hardened over into a blackened obsidian, cementing a statue in kind. But the beautiful thing that you find in it is it encompasses the statue of there is so present, ever present, blindingly white amongst the subdued tones of the Mourneranth. Now it feels ethereal amongst the frost of the mist. It seems like it's the thing that could get lost in a moment. And these once fragile vines made stone, this statue of Misha, now in perfect obsidian, it is the thing that stands out most. even though it looks fickle and fragile. Even though you can peer through every side of it, the last thing it feels is solid. It is there. And you just hear a voice say, "I'm terribly sorry. I'm late." And the voice is from behind you.
I turn around very slowly.
And as you turn, you see Doxon in a full suit, holding a bouquet of flowers of the exact same make. And that is where we will go to our first break. See you soon, Godslayers.
Welcome back, Godslayers. I hope that you took that break to do whatever you needed to take a little moment for you. Got some water, went for a little walk, whatever you needed. Welcome back. We are super excited to dive back into this interlude between courses and Ampara's incredible dinner party. I just wanted to let everybody know a couple of things. Number one, we are launching our giveaway for a $20 Die Hard Dice gift code. That will be going through the end of the session, and we will announce the winner at the very end, right before we wrap for the night. So if you want to win $20 to spend on dice or dice trays or whatever else strikes your fancy from Die Hard Dice, make sure that you enter that giveaway. I believe the way to do so is !sauce in the chat. And then if you use our code Death2Divinity at checkout, you get an additional 10% off. So not only are you getting $20 free to spend, you also get 10% off whatever you order, which means that you can get more stuff. Isn't that great? Also, if you mention us in the comments of your order, Die Hard Dice might send you a little something extra, which we think is very cool. As a reminder, please order dice trays if you're ordering dice. It will protect you and your dice and your various limbs. That's very important. And then the other thing that I wanted to say just before I hand the reins over back to Katie May is that on Monday, we are having our monthly Gaggle of Gamers stream. And Gaggle of Gamers is a monthly Patreon exclusive stream where members of the cast get together and play games together and gossip. So we talk about the most recent episode. We talk about what's going on with our characters. We talk about what's going on in our own lives a little bit. Last time we played Raft, which was incredibly fun. We built a little house together and painted a lot of things, and it was incredibly peaceful because we turned off the scary shark mode. So I don't know what we're playing yet this upcoming Monday, but I imagine that most of us will be, we'll be playing Raft again. I kind of figured that. It's it's nice, you know? But so definitely make sure that you subscribe to our Patreon if you want to hang out with us for that. It's just $3 a month to get access to all of our content. Streams are the only thing on the Patreon that do not eventually go public. Everything else goes public after 30 days. You can get early access to stuff through subscribing, and then you'll also get access to our weekly Scheme Time streams, which are with Katie May and a rotating slew of guests. It's us. We just show up for random streams.
Liza's a forever guest.
And you get to learn all kinds of secrets. And that is co-hosted by our community manager, Liza. So that's it. Those are my things. That's my mini box. Now I'm getting off.
Thank you, mini box. All right. Yes. We're gonna head back in. Before I do, I'd like to announce, as we head into the interlude proper, that one string is on the table for the first person who locks in a scheme that they want to take place during Nyx. 1 XP on the table for you. All you need to do is scheme. Speaking of scheme time. So, all right. As we head back in, we pick back up in the cascading mists that have overtaken the Mourneranth. These brief visages of the colors present are just the blue of the bell whales and the pink of Gideon's flowers and this otherwise encompassing mist. Doxon is standing. Are you still collapsed on the ground, Gideon? Just for everyone's sort of
Yeah, just in the moment when they turn around,
Adaptation.
they're still like turned around, kind of in awe at Doxon. Yeah, very sexy, sad, covered in rain.
That's great.
Yeah.
Perfect. Excellent. I love that. Okay. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm picturing it beautifully. Just I imagine like your head resting on the base of the statue. Very it's just that you push yourself up. Oh, very good. Very good. Okay. So you have done this. You've come to turn around. I imagine these like glassy tears still crystalline in the corner of your eyes. And one of the first things you realize is that your tears aren't the same color that they were as you lift your head from where you stood. What color are they now as your godhood becomes stronger in your body?
I think they're like a little like golden, like these golden tears, almost like how Nakia had. It's like I can't help it. I think if Gideon could pick their own tears, it'd be like I'd have black tears, but like it's not. It's like this bright gold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Gideon, you look up like streaks of gold pouring down your face, and a god is waiting there with hand-picked flowers, each petal a whisper of grief that he has taken a moment to painstakingly pluck before you caught him, I guess, because he did nothing else to he seemed like he was gonna be content to like let you cry for as long as you needed to, right? And his apology comes out with a quickness, like he wasn't expecting you to be like as coherent so soon. And though you've seen him before, the care that a god brings to show themselves to mortal, and the care a god takes in entering an arena with many other gods present, it's quite different. You know, he is standing just a couple of hairs taller than you with this beautiful suit on. Tailcoat? Is that the word?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine my costuming girlfriend's gonna beat me up for not remembering what that word is. A beautiful tailcoat with these buttons that are faceted to look like moons down the side. And you can see that he's actually taken one of your flowers and tucked it into his breast pocket. And after a moment, as you two are standing, I think it becomes pretty clear to you in this moment that if your grief is gnarled vines and half wilted flowers, then his is spilling mists. And so, standing patient still in a sea of both your griefs, I think you take in all of his grandeur, the suit, the shiniest shoes you've literally ever fucking seen in your life, with a beautiful brocade pattern on them. You, of course, with your two horns. He doesn't quite have a tiefling horn, but he has this beautiful crescent moon that emerges from the left side of his head, like your horns emerge from the front of yours and comes up to curl up above the crown of his head. And you can see a small collection of like more intimate mists, of ones that you assume that are probably ever present, collecting around that moon and shadowing kind of this like strong, powerful magic that is radiating from the crown of his head. And even though you are taking in all of these godly things, the fact that there aren't quite whites of his eyes, there are the mists of his eyes, and the eyes that are like staring at you from them are so deeply godly intense, with these gray lips set in a near perpetual frown. The fact that even though you are ensconced in these mists, if your calculations are right, he is fully still on guard facing the direction of the palace. There is also embarrassment to him for a brief moment as you look up over at him much sooner than he thought you were going to. And he's a little, you can tell he immediately is a bit taken aback and worried that he is too hurtfully encroached on this moment. And the next thing he says to you is,
I am happy to safeguard this place from others until you get a moment to steady yourself, if that is what you wish.
You came. You being here is all I need right now. And Gideon slowly pushes themselves up from the statue, sort of wiping tears away.
yeah, as you go to stand up, he actually extends a hand to help you.
Literally, we are going to the prom together! Gideon says in character. No. Can I take the bouquet of flowers he's holding out?
Yeah. He's obviously trying to help you steady before he introduces a new thing you have to incorporate into your balancing and standing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you accept his hand and stand, I think that would be the very next thing he does.
I take one of the flowers and tuck it behind my ear. Thank you.
Of course. I am always true to my word.
I knew I was right. That you're better than the rest of them.
No, I do not think you are right about that. Godhood is a all-encompassing essence that the concept of better does not invite.
Well, you don't treat tragedy like a joke. Gideon kind of throws one look over at the cruel statue that Ampara put there as a bit in his, night.
And Ampara, Doxon raises his eyes to look at Ampara's statue. And he doesn't even flinch. His eyes don't narrow. There's not a single hint of it. But in a sudden moment, these purposeful hairline fractures, as if someone took a chisel and found every fault line on this statue, like the architecture of it was already known. It fractures. And everything but Nisha crumbles.
You deserve to be depicted how you choose to be.
I'd like to leave this maze on your arm. That's how I'd like to be seen, but I don't know the way out.
It would be an honor. I will lead the way.
And as the arm extends, and you can see that the mists are kind of growing lighter now that he has been fully summoned. You can actually see that the Mornorinth is beginning to rustle a bit. And I think Doxon, noticing that rustling, extends his arm to you.
I take it. I loop elbows.
And after you loop elbows with him, you kind of notice him subtly positioned to himself just slightly with the two of you so that it's his shoulder facing where the majority of this rustling is beginning to congregate. It is, if you are in this small little dead end, it is off to the left. If there's a left and right out of here at the end of this corridor, off to the left is where this rustling is taking place the most. And Doxon has kind of made sure that he is closer to it than you. And after this moment, as things begin to, as like the rustling like begins to pick up in earnest, you notice the ground kind of shift a little, almost as if there is a liquidity under the surface of this Mornarinth, and you see the dead brush of the Mornarinth give way to moss. And this moss begins to pick up and take shape quickly. Not a few moments until it reaches its final form, which is Limericks, who stands taller than the both of you. And the previous like friendly visage that Kaylin was experiencing is not present here. In fact, Limericks' eyes illuminate the entire corridor with this red glow. The instrument still picked up on their shoulder. One single hand pointing down the corridor at the two of you. And Limericks says, "I believe you were informed about unannounced guests."
I wanted to surprise our host. I thought he'd find it enchanting.
Limericks begins like, "Oh my god, you know that like Undyne stomping in Undertale when you're like hiding in the brush?" It's literally that feeling as Limericks comes like walking down the corridor, approaching you in this dead end. You now hear like this snarling sound. And some of the literally hedge behind you, something that you previously thought that people like couldn't just like bust through. You notice as two equally crimson red wolves come bursting through the hedge to now sit at your back as well. So you hear like a snarl and a snap. And Limerick says, "A surprise? But Jolt has nearly ended."
Forgive me, this is my first flux party. I meant no rudeness. And my honored guest means no harm to you or any of the other guests here. I think he has a right to be here, don't you?
I think Doxon is like very content to not make his voice a voice that needs to be heard right now, which is great for a man. I think he's actively deferring to you in this moment, and he's hi transplanter. It's good to see you. And I think with that, Limericks kind of takes a moment to regard you before like opening their hand, and that instrument which you saw before, this violin with no bodice, just turns into this red dust, which immediately disappears amongst the corridor, which has already been lit crimson by Limericks' eyes. And Limerick says, well, if it is a surprise for Anpara, then we should bring his surprise right to him.
I looked at Doxon to see if he's like comfortable with that. Like if he's like, fuck no, then we won't do it. But
Are you kind of like clearly looking to him for input, or are you just suddenly trying to glean it?
I'm just like literally just like turning to look at him.
Okay, great. Because yeah, if it wasn't very clear, he was going to be completely. But yeah, I think regarding him, a wordless question of what his want is in this moment. Roxanne says, "You would think that." Oh, sorry.
You would think that is something your sun god would want. But I know his desires better than that. If you want to give him what he truly desires, you will send word to him that I have arrived, and I will enter when all of the other guests are announced in front of a proper crowd, which is his favorite thing. It would be so unkind to catch him so unawares when he's so busy preparing for his next course.
I look back at Limericks like, that's a good point.
That's a good point.
That's a good point.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Do you want to give me an entice roll? See how this goes?
I would love to. Is that hard?
I can find out for you.
Oh my god, Discord, don't open right now, please.
Oh, do we have worm? Oh, worm. Okay, I'm at 5 worms because we've got of course this worm open for anyone who wants to scheme. I'm gonna put this worm down right now, Molly. If you can visibly declare romantic interest in Doxon before the next course begins.
Oh, okay. Cool. I will take some time to do that. Great. Visibly. So this is probably too private here in the maze. Okay. Yeah, I look back at Limericks. And I'll reach back and hold Doxon's hand as I say this. And go, I think he knows his lovers best. Don't you?
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that'd do it. That would do it.
I thought I was gonna wait and then I just didn't. Oops.
Yeah, that would do it.
I'm not trying to be rude to Limericks. I genuinely like Limericks.
Limericks is just doing their job.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, no disrespect. I couldn't do it in front of my mom, so it's best here.
That makes sense. All right. Oh, was I looking at Entice for you? It is heart.
Yes. Oh my god, I blacked
I
out.
love
I
to
forgot
black
I was
out.
rolling. Okay. Oh my god. A 6? Oh, that's so bad.
Oh,
Oh no.
oh, I love that. I can do that. Because you used the one you got last week, right?
I think I did, right? Yeah. If I didn't, I'd use it now. When did I use it?
Did you use it? I thought you did, but maybe you didn't. No, Kita used hers.
And I used mine.
Oh, then I am using mine
That's what
here.
I'm thinking
Holy
of.
shit.
Go ahead
Absolutely.
and roll that additional d6 and add it here.
Absolutely. 5. Okay, so that's a total of 11. Thank fucking God.
There
Oh my
you go.
God. Oh.
All right. So go ahead and gain a string on limericks, and they are going to promise something that they think you want. Limericks takes a moment, especially when confronted with like the threat of putting on Para in a less than ideal situation. And Limericks takes a moment and goes, "You will be watched, god of stagnant grief. But you may stay with this mortal until the beginning of Nyx, where Anpara will greet you properly." Here, I will show you the way out.
I bow and
And
appreciate.
there we go. Limericks goes ahead and walks you out of the Mortarymph. Do you do anything during that nice little walk?
I think I almost want to say in response to what they just said to Doxon. You know, I don't think life is beautiful without the inevitability of death. It's all sort of a cycle, isn't it?
I think Doxon, even though Limericks is like not too far in front, like very casual about this whole thing now, pauses for a moment and goes,
Well, yes. Limericks is a lover of the abundance of the cycle. How death begets life and life begets death. They seem to think that just one side alone is a pitiful little thing.
Well, I think you're the farthest thing from pitiful. And Gideon gives him sort of like a big toothy smile as they like turn around. They're still holding his hand as they're walking.
all right, so then my big fucking question here as Limericks turns the corner is, are you holding hands with the god of architecture, destruction, and grief as you step out of the Mortarymph to be face to face with your estranged mother and your stepdad?
Yeah, I think I like almost cozy up even more. Like I link arms
Oh,
again. And I'm like
good.
right. Yes.
Good. Well, I will award you that little string, huh? Take your XP. Congratulations. Wow. Man. So you step out after this moment, in an adoring lockstep with this god, his mists almost completely faded now, giving way to the power of the sun god being in his domain. And oh boy, howdy.
I also am actively smiling when I come out. Smiling.
Perfect.
Grinning.
Yeah, I think Doxon sees that you're doing that, and Doxon's not big on smiling, but will do his best to look somewhat amiable. And that means just like not being like this, which is great for him. So I think that oh boy, howdy. So when you step out, the remaining Iron Eater Enclave members present, and when Nona and Brian can feel free to tell me if they are looking out the window and see this take place.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, you see the romantic intent is begotten by the string. You step out, mist still carrying at your feet, as an announcement to your joint presence. Obviously, the sameness of the flowers. Are you still holding the bouquet in your hand?
Literally like prom king and queen. Like, yeah, absolutely.
I love that. Okay, great. As oh boy, your mom dies. I don't. So you step out. So the nice thing that you have is that all of these people are wearing masks, and they're complete like shock, even though the mists were present, and the like. There is a palpable shock. And that is wild, considering that the only 4 people that are still here are Limericks, Phoebius, Valyria, and Malaya Pira. And my first question for you is a very similar question that I asked our earlier party members. Are you trying to define the situation right away? Do you give anyone a chance to speak before you do?
No. I looked at Malaya Pira and go, Malaya Pira. And I gesture to Doxon and go, would you mind hosting one more honored guest?
I declare smitten with Gideon if Brian's not in the scene.
Yeah, Brian could be looking out the window.
Beautiful. I'm doing it.
Declare smitten. So you ask him to host another god.
When I first started talking to Malaya Pira, and I'm like, can you get me a Diet Coke? Actually, me and my friend. Can you get some Diet Coke?
Some bevies. So the most that Malaya Pira gives away in this moment is a slight tilt of his head, right? His antlers, with their many tendrils and these almost strands of fate draping from them, moving in silk motion with him. And there's a long silence before Malaya Pira goes, "Oh, Gideon, it would be my true honor. I'm so glad to see that Doxon has started getting involved with his godhood again." And Doxon just goes,
Malaya Pira. Still an entropic void of death.
Malaya Pira kind of chuckles and goes, "For half it," no, he goes, Perhaps if it was ego death, Doxon, you would find some use in my presence, but I cannot help you. I can escort you to your wing, however. I promise you will be treated better than you're treated in those miserable mists of yours.
It must be hard, Maleapira. Being so close to divinity all the time, but never touching it with so many hands. Please. Politeness should be allowed to every guest. Jealousy is a disease. Get well soon, bitch. I say them. And then I dunk my football into the end zone and I explode in delight. He can't kill me at the party. It's his boss's rules.
Oh my god. I'm like looking to see if that's a move because I feel like there should be a mechanical effect to this moment.
Can I stagger him by dunking on him so fucking hard in front of everyone?
Well, that's not an NPC move.
I don't know.
Oh man, because that's almost how's that milkshake taste, you know? But I know you just barely didn't take that one. Looking at yours, I think that's a know your place.
Oh my god. Thank you. I should know my own moves, huh?
Yeah, so you know your place when someone dares to insult you and you deliver a scathing retort, roll plus wit. 10 plus word spreads of your sharp wit, take +1 forward and they choose one, 7 to 9 they choose one, down, and then less than that would be a downbeat. And the choices are back down, make a fool of themselves, or attack you.
I got a 6, so feel free to
You got a 6?
Uh-huh.
Do you have any strings on Maleapira you can use in this moment? Oh wait, no, this doesn't say that you can add strings to your roll. You should be able to add strings to this roll. I'm gonna change that for you. So a 6, huh?
Yeah. Whose strings? I have a string on Ampara. I don't know if I can use it in this moment to dunk on one of his Enclave members.
Oh, certainly not.
You wanted to get messy, Katie Man. I'm here to
no,
deliver to you.
No. I am I love that. Gideon, you say this. And remind everyone what exactly what it is that you said.
It must be hard coming so close to divinity, but never touching it with all of those hands.
Maleapira looks you dead in the fucking eyes as he takes off his mask. Taking 2 steps closer. And his eyes drift down to your chest, where a laden scar sits. Gifted to you after a particularly terrifying dream. And he looks at it with a knowledge. Then looks back up to you. And says, "Oh. Young Gideon, I have spent enough time around divinity to realize that it burns up those who do not know its power or how to wield it or when to learn that they're not powerful enough to play with it. Those are very brave words you just shared.
But I'd like to remind you in front of your penchant mother that even though you aspire to the most holy throne, it will not be divinity that burns and eats me alive. No. Divinity will come for you in the form of a kin's hand, with a blade that'll render you quite mortal. And if you are not careful, that end will come faster than you'd like it to.
And there's a very real threat to that. You can continue to pick this fight, but Malaya Pira has laid out the stakes pretty clearly.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of a response. Other than just like, fuck you.
If you pause long enough, Valyria is going to intervene on your behalf.
Sure, for once. I think I'll let her.
Yeah, what's that moment of pause look like for you?
I think Gideon like doesn't have any like information or anything to get back at Malaya Pira with. So you see them stare at him and they just kind of like get this like predatory smile, like they're about to like fight him right here. As they take a step closer to him as he steps closer to her. And then
So I assume you're taking on the angry condition?
I'm already angry, don't worry.
Oh, which other condition would you like to take then?
Let's see. So many good ones. Frightened, but I'm going to try very hard not to seem frightened.
Gotcha. Yeah, because you look very angry, but like the words that might follow that,
Mhm.
they're not here. You've started enough fights in the middle of a classroom, and those words have always been there, you know? You've started enough bar fights on your friend's behalf your words have always been ready for you. And in this moment they are not. And you take a step forward. And I think like you are still holding Doxon's hand. So Doxon will also have to take a step forward without it being weird. So that happens as well. And I think like the mists begin to like pick up again. And there is this like bite of silence that is about to become a snap. And before that can happen, Valyria says, Now, Malaya Pira, you should follow your good god's example. We are not here for war. We are here for peace. And me and my daughter are here to advocate for mortal kind peace, as you are here to advocate for peace for your dynasty. Those nasty little words you said, those were not peace. I'd rethink them. And oh boy, Gideon, if Malaya Pira had contempt for you, the seething look he gives Valyria is compounded tenfold. This is not the first time these two people are meeting each other. And Malaya Pira just looks at her for a long moment and goes, Well, Valyria, your nobility has won the day again. Doxon, it'd be an honor to escort one of our pantheon to the best accompaniment Acheron can afford. Gideon, I hope you get to spend some quality time with your family while you're here. I know that everyone here at the party is so very aware of just how precious That moment is for the whole family unit. Valyria, Thievius. And he goes to escort Doxon away. But before that happens, Doxon makes eye contact with you, like, do you want me to leave right now? Kind of, that.
I think I give him like, I'm good. I figured he would want to go talk to everyone there and like get a chance to settle in himself. So I'll be okay. But I think he can see Gideon looks a little freaked out.
And I think he sees that, and he just like murmurs to you, say my name and I will be there. And he then heads off with Malaya Pira.
I blush. He's great. Wow. I'm in love with the god I've worshipped my whole life. It's fun.
And yeah, so that god you've known your whole life kind of walks away. And then the next few words you hear are, Gideon Osmond, what were you thinking?
Are you fucking kidding me? I whip around. The next few words out of your mouth better be very carefully chosen.
I will choose them carefully. Why would you invite your host's nemesis to a function?
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I don't know. Morgan Osmond, perhaps you've heard of him, worshipped him his whole life, and there's several prophecies about him on the table right now, and I thought, hey, wouldn't it be fair for him to know what's going on and have a say in all of this? It was the right thing to do.
Your rightness does not beget the fact that we were able to recently confirm that leader of the Iron Eater Enclave is indeed in possession of the Kinkiller Blade.
I thought
you have
you
just
wanted
provoked your most direct threat.
I thought you weren't you going to use it to get me to fight Nakia or something? That's what I assumed this whole time, right?
Why did I do that?
I don't know. I don't know anything about you, actually, so how would I know any of your motivations? Right? I don't know anything about you.
Gideon, I know we will need time to catch up, and I know I will have to explain myself and apologize. But I hope those are all things you would at least beget me an attempt at.
For Nakia's sake. And Mirafall? I'm not trying to cause trouble. You know that, right?
I don't have enough fingers and toes for the amount of times that Morgana said that to me.
I think Gideon looks away, fully, anger, collapse, look away. What now? We go back to your house. I wanted to go find Mirafall.
At that point, Thievius speaks up and goes, yes, I will take us all back to my village and we can set up there.
I forgot you were here. Great.
He's the most extravagant gift of the three of you. He's in his near clown regalia. He was love that. Yeah, I think that at that point I would like to cut to a window glued Brine and Winona, who noticed this happening through one of the windows. Please pray tell me please pray tell, what did that look like?
Well, as noted before, Brian I've declared smitten for Brian, so Gideon gets a
course.
spring, and then I have to answer some question. Do you want to resolve that now?
Oh shit! Did you need to do that for Doxon, or was that a joke?
No, it was not a joke, but I was like, I don't know what the question is off the top of my head, and I don't want to hunt for it right now because I'm too into this, so I
We'll resolve
ignored
it next
it.
time you see him. We'll get there. We'll get there.
I was gonna say we can resolve it next time I see Gideon as well, if that's easier. Because
No, I would love to hear. Well, I think you will have to resolve the question next time you see Gideon. But I want to know what this
certainly,
between Winona and Brian looks like.
I think that okay, so upon entering into like their like rooms or their quarters, whatever it is, I think Brian kind of sits as close to the window as she can so that she can see as much going on like down in the courtyard as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how she kind of sees like Gideon emerge from the maze holding Doxon's hand. And I think she literally just like slaps Winona on the arm.
Oh no!
Like cuts Winona off mid-sentence, slaps Winona on the arm and goes, "Do you fucking see what's going on down there?"
I think Winona is gonna like immediately turn around and also like, what the fuck is Brian talking about? And it's like fucking transfixed. I think I'm like taking notes on how to be as badass as Gideon. I'm always taking notes on how to be as badass as Gideon, but like especially right now, holy shit.
I think Brian also asks Winona like who that is because I don't think Brian realizes that it's Doxon.
I love that for us.
I don't like. I just don't.
Looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because the mist. You've got a whole thing going on with
Yes,
Doxon,
I do.
don't you?
I knew like the
Yeah.
mist, but I didn't know if like okay, yes, putting two and two together now. That's Doxon. It's good.
Of course it is. All right.
Gideon, are they holding hands?
I think Brian like narrows her eyes and then I think she says, well, leave it up to Gideon to choose the most controversial thing to do at a party where I've already been yelled at by the god hosting it.
Gideon's so fucking
Aren't they
cool.
enemies? They're mortal enemies, right? His wings. It's his wings.
Yep.
So this will be fine.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah.
Honestly, the more power Gideon gets, the more impressed I am. I gotta say.
Yeah. Hopefully this
And I
doesn't
think
get.
you see a little bit of like just like the slightest little smile on Brian's face. And it is the same little face that she used to make when she first started having a crush on Gideon.
My heart, my soul.
It's up to you whether or not you comment on that, I think.
I think I'm gonna let you have that. I'm gonna let you have that. It's all right.
That's for you.
That's a good call for now. Yeah, that
that's for
makes
you.
sense.
Yeah. I already got you about the Fireflies.
But yes, I think that's kind of how that
Yeah, and I
shakes
think as you guys see that exchange ending and Gideon kind of like an angry teenager who's like going to Costco with their parents, kind of like walks off with Phoebius and Valeria. The two of you are led. The two of you are kind of made aware of like Fife's presence, like halfway up the next set of stairs, as Fife, who has pulled up like this honestly weirdly spectral like magical tech deck and has just been like finessing with an interface in front of them that you have literally no fucking understanding of. It's not something you've ever seen before. You don't have an understanding of it. You don't know what's going on. Just like this technical interface. I think Brian, you would know enough like from just being on ships that had like that were like powered by runemancy. Like I'm so sorry I said tech like the skateboard. I meant like a technology interface that is like this deck sized. It's fine. So sorry for the
Fife's just doing
skateboard.
sick tricks with a tiny skateboard. Love
Good
that.
God. And after like they're just kind of like you would know enough that there is like an aspect of runemancy to whatever Fife is contending with at this moment. But just like not paying attention to anything that you all are like looking at or doing, literally just like doing some sort of weird like mechanical interface with this magic in front of them. And they look up when it starts like winding down and they say, "Are you ready to see your rooms?"
I think Brian kind of reluctantly turns from the window, takes in this, like what's happening, and then says, yeah, I think, are you good to go, Winona?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Lead the way. And I think as she says that, Brian takes her mask off.
Yeah, so you take your mask off and you are led up these spiral staircases until you can tell that the mushroom is branching off into the different heads, and you take a direct turn and are led to let me pull you onto your map. Let me bring you over here. A fair welcome. So, you are pulled onto this this honestly pretty technically developed area. While the floor is still the natural mushroom material, everything in here is pretty like, honestly, it reminds you a bit of Zubifax, Brian. It's all wood walls and like very academic feeling. You see like piles of books, like piled up at doorways, and either you can hear like different hummings of different essences of magic and the like, heading from all different kinds of doorways and such as you head into this into this proper section of Fife's little mushroom house. As you are led in, Fife points to the left and says, "Off to your left is where Chintrix will be staying. Chintrix has not made his way out of the maze yet, but when he does, he will be staying here. You will not be staying directly with him under his request."
Fair enough. Does he have the same access to our rooms? Are we separated, so to speak?
Is that what you would like?
Not having Chintrix show up in my bedroom in the middle of the night? Yes, that's what I would like.
If you are not fond of that mortal, then your mortal shall not have access. Are there any other mortals you would like to bar?
Are there any others who are likely to sneak in here in the middle of the night? Is there security on this place? What are we looking at here?
This is a god's domain. Security is not needed. I have precious tech here that has lived here with unquantifiable value, and it has stood safe for hundreds of years.
All right, fair enough.
All guests have been welcomed to every part of the palace.
I'd like it so that Valeria cannot come in here. And I'd also like it that actually no, I think that's mostly my list. I think anybody else would be probably fine. Did you Winona, do you have any thoughts on this?
No, I don't think no.
Then it will be Valeria and Valeria alone, alongside Chintrix, who is barred from entry into your rooms.
Great, thanks, Fife.
Follow me. Would you like any reading materials delivered to your living abode while you are here? I have the finest library in Acramon.
Oh, wow, yeah, especially with Hugo here, that'd be great if you could bring I mean anything you've got on the flora and the fauna of the wilds, anything about the gods, so we can learn about our esteemed host and the others that are here for the gala, the ball. That'd be lovely.
It will be done. Winona?
No, but do we have access to the library? Should we think of anything?
Yes, it is in the mushroom next door.
Hey, good to know.
Well, this is your room. And Fife opens these double doors that lead way to this quite beautiful holding. Brian, the weirdest thing about this is it's like very it is very Zubifex. It's like homey. It is just like a plain wood and like salvaged furs and untold stacks of books and pillows and the like. I think the first few William?
There he goes.
Hello,
There he
bestie.
goes.
Oh, there we
I
go.
miss him so.
There he
missed you.
goes again.
Did you live?
Multiverse is committing some
live.
violence.
My computer's
Yeah.
just going through it.
I'm also gonna reopen mine.
Did I dream too far?
It crashed twice on me, and now it's just a black screen, so I can't see
Oh
anything.
no.
I also can't click on anything, so I can't even try to go back to the
Yeah.
homepage or anything like that.
I just opened mine up again. Let me
I
try
desperately
again.
want to know what it is that you're describing to me, and you're painting a beautiful word picture, but I wish I could see it.
That's so scary. Well,
Things are loading very slowly.
that's wild.
Mine's also still black. All good.
Wow, I love it for me. Let me see.
Oh,
All right. Let me know if there's anything I can do. In the meantime, I will tell you that your rooms are comprised of several things. So the first thing you have is this beautiful little like loungy type room here in the center with several couches with coffee tables in between them. These coffee tables are stacked with books from perhaps previous guests. This is the most lived-in place of the palace you've seen so far, and also very little regard has been made in making it seem like no one else has ever stayed here before. You see, take that as you might. So there is a stairway in this lounge area that leads to this beautiful overlook that overlooks the lounge room. This overlook, its central piece is this beautiful rug where in the center of it lies this globe. And I don't know if either of you have seen it or heard of it. You can decide if this is part of your history or not. But this globe is actually what is known as a true globe. And what you can do is touch it, and it will create a magical holographic replica of Acramon around you, which you can manipulate and zoom and investigate as so you fit. There are maybe 5 of these in all of Acramon, and it is probably a good chance that 2 or 3 of them have broken since the First War. Fife has one of them. All surrounding this globe are piles of pillows and like these giant lounging cushions. This place up here seems slept in, though it does not seem like you are being asked to do so, because underneath this little overlook is where the doorways to 2 rooms with 2 beds sit, for you to do with as you please. This room is mostly these very pleasant, like dusty purples and old red velvets. And as you're looking around, you're like pretty sure that almost everything in here is some variation of old world. which is and this is one of the first places in this palace where that has been true.
Can we see Hugo and Mel upon walking in?
Yeah, so that is the next fun thing that does take place. As you step in, you realize that Mel is there, and so is Hugo. And the way they both kind of like snap up upon entrance is a little concerning. You get the feeling because Mel was like sitting on a couch with her shoulders kind of hunched, and Hugo was like standing there with a hand on her shoulder. And for two people who literally don't know each other, that's a little weird. But like once the door opens, they both kind of jump, and any emotion that is on Mel's face is completely gone. And Hugo also like distances himself from that moment as well, as the three of you walk in.
I think Brian gives a quick kind of glance around to see, as much as she can of the place, and then kind of locks in on her dad and on Mel, and she says, thank God you're both safe. We had to declare any of our uninvited guests.
Hugo goes, it's good to see you in one piece.
I think Brian just kind of like gives him a little smile and just like nods and says, yeah, you too, Dad. And you, Mel, of course.
Mel stoically nods back, eyes completely glazed over. Hugo goes, I hope introductions went well.
About as well as could be expected. Apparently, a vial I've been carrying around for quite some time actually contained a living creature that's now here at the party as well. So,
Belle, you gotta know what's in your vials.
it's a long story.
Why would you carry around unidentified vials?
It's a long story, Dad.
You gotta label them too. What did you label the vial?
I couldn't. There was no way for me to put anything on it. Couldn't write on it. Couldn't put a sticker on it. Nothing.
That didn't send any warning signals.
What was I supposed to do? Offload it somewhere? What if it was a bomb? What if it was something that could hurt somebody?
Vial's none of your business.
At the time, it was.
And what was your business?
I can't talk about it. I will. We can come back to this. We have other things that we need to talk about that are far more pressing than that.
Random vials in their pockets.
Winona's gonna take.
What are you doing during this confrontation, Winona?
Winona's gonna like carefully make her way over to Mel because we know that things are still a little tense from earlier. But she notices that something's very off, and she's just gonna ask, like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, you ask, and Mel, like, her eyes do kind of like light up when you talk to her. Like, even though you guys aren't on the best of terms right now, there is an undeniable like love for the comfort that you two bring each other. That is very prevalent when you two talk to each other. But that is quickly interrupted by the distrusting look that she throws back at Fife, who is still standing at the front of the door. And Fife goes, like, clearly noticing that they are not welcome, like that they are now an unwanted guest here. Looks around and says, if you have any questions about how to use the True Globe, or have any technical or informational needs while you're here, this is, well, I'm the only host that could help you with things along the lines of that, and I encourage you to take advantage of that while you are here. I love speaking to mortals when I get the chance to. But if you need nothing left, no, sorry, mortal speak, if you need nothing else, I will see myself away.
I think we're all set, Fife. Thank you very much. Will we be fetched when it's time for the next course, or are we expected to show up?
You have 90 minutes, and I will come get you when that time is up.
All right, sounds good.
Good to know.
And Fife leaves.
I think as soon as they do, Brian turns to her dad and goes, if you want to know about all the shit that I've been up to for the last 12 years, I will gladly tell you, but it will not be while we're here because there are other things that are more important.
Bet you it's distasteful.
A good, fair portion of it is, yeah, Dad, probably.
You think I want to know that about my kid?
What asking about how I... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
What good did you do?
I think she actually gets real quiet when he asks that. And she just kind of looks away from him, and then she takes a breath and she says, offered access to Fife's library. I think it would be useful for us to try to find as much information as we can about everything that's going on here. Especially after what happened to Winona in the maze.
Mel, now that we're all here, are you okay?
Yeah, Mel kind of takes a moment. Like she takes a deep breath in, and after a moment, she says, everything is about as okay as it can be. The situation is under control and handled. There was a small skirmish at the fringes of the weeds today, and a few people died.
Oh.
Carlos sent word. Depending on how this negotiation goes, the weeds could be in a pretty exposed spot. Getting their defenses. No, not the. She like literally looks disgusted. She's like, not the castle. Literally. Just holds up her Simpacts.
I would be too. But who got hurt?
Oh no. Chat can't hear you, Sam. Not at all. Oh no. Well, Sam reemerges. Winona. Let us know. Also, yeah. I'm so sorry, multiverses. Julian's entire PC. I'm so sorry. That
Oh
is
no,
so
they
wild.
still can't hear you.
Oh no.
What?
Okay, here, Julian, throw us on break.
Yeah. Okay.
We will see you all soon. Hello, Godslayers. Can you hear me? Let me know if through these penchant mists my voice has made its way to you. As you can see, the fickle will of many gods has left us so far from you. And this is where we will be ending our session tonight, with our players in just as much suspense as you are. What will happen to Winona as Carlo's need moves up one on its track? Or as Gideon entreats into Thievius's village for the first time? Or Current runs into Lunorin, who is waiting in her chambers for her? Yes, so many things to find out, but we will not learn them tonight. No, we will learn them next week, along with many other truths. If you want to sit in that suspense with us, you are more than welcome to visit us Monday for Gaggle of Gamers. But before I leave you tonight, I'd like to tell you a little secret. Not the secret I thought I'd be telling you tonight, but the secret of what happened after Malaya Pira's encounter with Gideon Osmond. After bringing Doxon to his new quarters. Yes. I would like to take a moment in Malaya Pira's bed chambers. A ceiling of nothing but tree boughs, and walls, nothing but mirrors. We see Malaya Pira standing in front of the largest mirror of them all, putting on the last pieces of finery for his ballroom attire. A grand look that is overshadowed by the fuming anger that radiates off of his body. We hear two simple knocks at the door before someone with a familiar but unnamed voice says, "You rang for me, Father?" Malaya Pira says, "Yes, child. Take the mirror, head back to Miriage, grab the blade, and bring it to me. I think we may need to keep it close." The unseen figure says, Of course, Father. Anything else?" And there's a long pause before he says, "Yes. Bring us Sencha too. No one wants Doxon more dead than she. And if we're going to be bringing our own gods to the table, I won't be left out." Let's show Gideon what can happen when godhood rots a soul. I bet you none of those mortals even know that gods can fall. I can't wait to teach them. And you hear the off-screen child say, "It'll be done." And they disappear into the mirror. To grab things that could very well bring about Gideon Osmond's undoing. And that is the little secret I'd like to leave you with, Godslayers. Stay thirsty. Thank our mods for hanging out, being the strongest derby team we've ever seen. I'll see you for Gaggle of Gamers on Monday, and for those truly strong enough for Scheme Time on Thursday. It's Thirsty Thursdays now, not Wednesday anymore. As always, a perpetual thank you to my beautiful, beautiful cast. And a thank you to our wonderful producer who has to deal with clown things like computers. It's very hard work. There's a reason I don't do it. Oh my God. So thank you to our beautiful, powerful team. I will see everyone here to tell a beautiful, powerful story next week. And if you think that secret was bad, one of my players is keeping an even bigger one. See you then.